Every American diner seemed to have one. The Blue Plate Special. A hearty main course, potatoes, vegetables, and usually enough gravy to settle any remaining disagreements. But what exactly made it a Blue Plate Special? Was the plate really blue? Was there one particular meal that earned the name? And did this great American diner institution actually begin in a diner at all? Strangely enough, our story begins not beneath the flashing neon sign but aboard an American railway dining car more than a century ago. Hello my friends and fellow Apollonians, welcome back to Apollo's Diner. I'm your host Apollo Jupiter, and today we're opening the very first of the Diner Files. So pull up a chair, we have a special to investigate. The file is open. Before we go hunting through railway timetables and suspiciously precise origin stories, let us settle one thing. The Blue Plate Special was not one particular recipe. There was no official ruling demanding meatloaf on Monday, Salisbury steak on Tuesday, and something called Chef's Choice by Friday. It was a formula. One complete meal chosen by the restaurant, usually meat or fish, potatoes or another starch, and one or two vegetables, served together at one set price. You ordered the special, and the special was what you received. The menu had spoken, and the piece intended to see the matter through. That simplicity was the point. One complete meal, served quickly and priced to tempt the hungry customer away from the rest of the menu. Today we picture it beneath a diner's neon sign, but the earliest documented example leads somewhere rather different. In October 1915, the Seaboard Airline Railway began advertising a Blue Plate Special aboard its dining cars. For 50 cents, passengers received meat or fish with two vegetables as one complete dinner. Railway meals often arrived as a procession of separate dishes. One for the meat, one for the potatoes, one for the vegetables, and perhaps another merely to test the waiter's balance. The special put everything on one plate, quicker to serve, easier to clear, and gentler on the passenger's pocketbook. 2 years later, travel writer Julian Street described a similar seaboard dinner on one great plate with recessed spaces for the vegetables. He found it generous, affordable, and much more like a proper home dinner than ordinary railway fare. Not bad for a kitchen hurtling through the countryside. But what did that plate actually look like? So, was it really blue? In the earliest documented examples, yes. The 1915 advertisement described one large blue plate. Later accounts mentioned blue ornamented crockery, sometimes with shallow recesses to keep the vegetables in their appointed districts. There was no official design. Some were solid blue, others blue and white, some were divided while others were simply generous dinner plates. Mine carries the famous blue willow pattern, complete with pagodas, a bridge, and several tiny figures who seem sensibly determined to stay out of the gravy. It is not the original seaboard plate. That particular piece of railway china has declined every request for an interview.
No.
And we do not know that every special arrived on blue willow, but it represents the sort of blue patterned ceramic ware associated with the meal. And the cheap plastic compartment plate so often shown online, that actually came way later. Plastic and melamine may have carried plenty of blue plate specials after the Second World War, but they cannot have named the meal in 1915. For once, plastic has been accused of a crime it did not commit. There are also older origin stories. The most famous credits Fred Harvey, whose restaurants fed railway travelers across the American West. According to the tale, a Blue Plate Special appeared on a Harvey house menu in 1892. A wonderfully exact date, almost suspiciously exact. Unfortunately, nobody has reliably located the menu yet. The famous 1892 special remains like a restaurant guest who made a reservation but never arrived. An earlier example may still emerge, but until then, the Fred Harvey story is intriguing rather than proven. Another tale claims that cheap blue compartment plates created a special during the Great Depression. It sounds plausible, but it is also at least 15 years too late. Seaboard had already advertised blue plate specials in 1915. Those divided plates may have continued the tradition, but they did not begin it. We may never know who first gave the meal its name. but the evidence points toward the 1910s and real blue ceramic plates, not Depression-era plastic or, at least yet, a mysterious menu from 1892. So what actually went onto a blue plate special? The exact menu changed, but the formula was reassuringly familiar. The main dish, potatoes or nut starch, and 1 or 2 vegetables. Roast beef with gravy, Salisbury steak, pork chops, meatloaf, ham or fish might appear joined by mashed potatoes, peas, carrots, green beans, or whichever vegetable the kitchen had placed its confidence in that day. You can find many of these classic diner recipes right here on the channel, by the way. So the special part of the blue plate meal was the combination. Instead of ordering everything separately, the customer received a complete dinner at one advertised price. The early Seaboard version cost 50 cents, as mentioned, a comparatively economical choice aboard a railway dining car. And it benefited the restaurant as well. One daily meal was easier to plan, buy and prepare in quantity. It meant faster service, less waste and fewer separate dishes marching back to the kitchen. The kitchen knew what it was cooking, the customer knew what it would cost, and the dishwashing department had every reason to approve. Before long, the blue plate special had traveled far beyond the railway dining car. It appeared in hotels, clubs, cafeterias, lunch counters, and of course, diners, where it found its ideal home. A diner had to feed workers, travelers and families quickly, often from a small kitchen during a very busy lunch hour. One dependable daily meal prepared in advance and served at a clear price suited the job beautifully. Customers knew they would receive a proper filling dinner without having to spend 20 minutes studying the menu and deciding which vegetable truly expressed their personality. But by the 1920s and 30s, the blue plate special had become a familiar part of everyday American restaurant life. The diner did not invent it, but it gave the blue plate special the setting in which America would remember it best. A counter stool, a cup of coffee, and a complete meal arriving on one reassuring plate. So what was a blue plate special? It was not one particular recipe nor one official design of plate. It was a complete home-style meal chosen by the restaurant, served quickly and offered at a clear price. And yes, in the earliest documented examples, the plate really was blue. The idea may have begun aboard a railway dining car, but it was the American diner that gave it a lasting home. Many of the dishes that once filled those plates, Salisbury steak, meatloaf and plenty more besides, are still being brought back to the table here at Apaulo's Diner. And there are many more stories hiding behind the meals of the American diner. So until we open the next file, keep a seat at the counter for me. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video.